Hi Chaitanya, how are you? Hi Chaitanya, hi Sunaman, how are you?
Hi, Rajat. How are you doing? Very well, very well. It's really late for you.
Man, this is what I call as BAU. Chaitanya, how are you, my friend?
You're on mute,
You're
Chaitanya.
I'm still down with a little bit of cold, but okay.
क्या बात है यार, क्या बात है? तो
थोड़ा सा सर्दी है, but ठीक है.
अच्छा एक मिनट.
This Preeta called Rajan
I'm
is
the
having
viewer.
a
इसको मैं कहता हूँ he needs to
Preeta
ये
called Rajan is having a tough time joining in. Hello.
uh, who is this guy?
Yeah, hi everyone. Toshendra here.
Hey Tosh, how are you?
Good, good, good.
Oh, you wear glasses. Oh,
Yeah, I have a glass of but हम बच्चे हैं ना छोटे छोटे तो उठा के
हाँ.
ले जाते हैं तो आज मिल गए मुझे हाथ से.
एक मिनट जरा मैं इसको देखूं कि ये कहाँ चला गया है. ये लगता है कि हाँ हाँ. Like, did you enter the sessions?
Actually, there are quite a few steps to before you enter here.
हाँ हाँ. You see, ये Hopin V कोई IBM से कम नहीं है. मतलब I thought when I was in IBM, that IBM is only process driven.
मैंने 2-3 बार लॉगिन बटन पे क्लिक किया, फिर उसके
हाँ
बाद
हाँ
रजिस्ट्रेशन कराया, फिर मैं रजिस्ट्रेशन करके गूगल से मैंने साइन इन कर लिया. तो
हाँ
ये सब इसके बाद के जो स्टेप्स थे वो मैंने फॉलो किए तो आ गया मैं.
हाँ 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 हाँ. Let me leave, and I chose sessions and only this session was available, so I clicked to get in. That is correct. So Rajat को भी problem हो रही. That is correct. Let me go out and come back.
क्या हुआ? हाय तोशेंद्र.
क्या हाल है?
ठीक है यार, सर्दी हो गया.
तो काफी लोगों को हो रहा है, यहाँ पे भी बहुत हो रहा है.
सर्दी खांसी हो गया. I'm
मुंबई
keeping all
में तो
I'm
टेम्परेचर
keeping
भी गिरा नहीं होगा ज्यादा, भी ठंडा.
नहीं, मुंबई में टेम्परेचर किधर गिरता है?
यहाँ
दो
काफी
2-3 दिन की सर्दी होती है यहाँ पे. ऐसे
न्यूयॉर्क
20 डिग्री पे लोग जैकेट वैकेट पहनने लगता है.
यहाँ तो काफी ठंडा होने लग गया. 10-11 पहुंच गया है अभी.
हाँ,
10-11 डिग्री तक पहुंच गया. यहाँ पे रात को तो 8 डिग्री तक पहुंच जाता है.
You're in Delhi,
हाँ,
Gurgaon.
गुड़गांव is even worse, right? Because खाली खाली है.
हाँ, खाली एरिया ज्यादा है. लैंड काफी ओपन है यहाँ पे भी.
अब जब तक है तब तक एंजॉय कर लो, फिर नहीं मिलेगी.
बिल्डिंग बन रही है दबादब. बहुत बिल्डर्स ने बहुत
गुड़गांव is also crazy development. मतलब जहाँ पे 3 आदमी खड़े रह सकते हैं वहां पे बिल्डिंग बना देते हैं.
और नहीं, रियल एस्टेट बहुत महंगा है यहाँ पे. तो नोएडा से कंपेयर करोगे ना तो आप पाओगे 3 टाइम्स एक्सपेंसिव है रियल एस्टेट यहाँ पे.
वाओ.
आपको 3 BHK 1.5 करोड़ में मिल जाएगा. मतलब अच्छा खाला, मतलब गुड क्वालिटी. यहाँ पे वही आपको 3.5-4 करोड़ में मिलेगा. गुड़गांव इज क्वाइट एक्सपेंसिव.
Which is weird because you know इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आती नहीं है और जनरेटर से चलती है और पानी टैंकर से आता है.
हाँ पता. अब यार एक्सपेंसिव सोसाइटी होती है, लोग ध्यान भी नहीं देते हैं. मेंटेनेंस में सब मैनेज रहता है.
Over the last couple of days or weeks, so many people have approached me through LinkedIn. वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया आ रहे हैं.
मैं भी आ रहा हूँ.
हाँ, सुन तो सही. तो वो एक लड़की थी बड़ी, मे बी अबाउट 35-40 की होगी. मतलब तो मैंने उसको बोला, व्हाई डू यू वांट टू कम टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया? तुम वहाँ, इंडिया इकोनॉमी इज ग्रोइंग 7%, ये वो, मतलब इतना वो हो रहा है. वो कहती है मैं क्या करूँ वहाँ. बोथ माई किड्स, शी लिव्स इन गुड़गांव, बोथ माई किड्स आर इन ऑन नेबुलाइजर. द एयर इज सो बैड.
Pollution is.
Better to move to Mumbai.
हाँ, मुंबई.
Bangalore is a still good option, but traffic के अलावा.
Oh man, Bangalore, it takes already 2.5 hours to go from the airport here.
No. Going to Bangalore is like 2
मैं
trips.
डरता हूँ
It's
मैं
two-
एक्चुअली
No,
बैंगलोर
no,
जाने से डरता हूँ
but it
because
is 2 trips. From Mumbai to Bangalore airport is 1 trip, and then from Bangalore airport to Bangalore is another trip.
Another. Yes.
नाइटमेयर है नाइटमेयर.
And both take the same time. Sometimes the second trip takes longer.
मैं सिडनी में होऊंगा 4th जनवरी तक. आई विल बी इन सिडनी. You know, if you are
okay. I should be around.
4th जनवरी तक होऊंगा.
छुट्टी के लिए जा रहे हो?
हाँ, फैमिली है मेरी. एक्चुअली सिस्टर इन लॉ रहती है वहीं पे.
कहाँ पे? सिडनी में?
सिडनी, वो मेलबर्न में रहती है, तो मेलबर्न आऊंगा पहले, फिर सिडनी, फिर बैक टू मेलबर्न, एंड फिर मेलबर्न रहूंगा कुछ दिनों.
So, you see, I don't
This
know how
will
long
be
you're
hot, huh?
coming.
It'll be hot there, no? Now?
हाँ, थोड़ा सा relatively.
Yeah, but what we have been seeing for the last year and this year is that we've not, typically we used to have temperatures going over 40 in Sydney around December, end December. But for last Sydney, we've been using quilts here. So we've had a pretty mild.
मैंने देखा 20-21 डिग्री तो बहुत इजी है, मतलब हैंडल करना हमारे लिए.
ना 20-21 तो बहुत ही, तुम बहुत ज्यादा उसको सिडनी को भाव दे रहे हो. बट मतलब द टेम्परेचर स्टिल मतलब ऐसे होता है कि 35 के ऊपर जाता है तो बारिश हो जाती है.
हाँ, सही है, बढ़िया. यार चल, हम गोल्ड कोस्ट जाएंगे, फिर सिडनी आएंगे, वहां से फिर.
हाँ, बट मैं तुम्हें जो कहने लगा था ना कि तुम्हारे बच्चे, हाउ मेनी किड्स डू यू हैव?
मेरे 2 हैं. एक 1.5 साल का बेटा है और ऑलमोस्ट 3 साल की बेटी है.
एक मिनट यार, रजत को इसको क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है? He says I can't see the blue button. Okay, let me.
टॉप पे बार आ रहा है. जॉइन
लिखा है उसको यार, उसको लिखा मैंने. हाँ,
वेबसाइट के टॉप पे आ रहा है. मे बी उन्होंने ना कोई अगर एड ब्लॉकर लगा रखा होगा तो हो सकता है वो बाहर ना आ रहा हो. एड ब्लॉकर तो नहीं लगा रखा किसी ने.
Good morning, all.
Hi.
Hi, James.
Hi, James.
Hey, James.
Hey,
James, listen. One of the speakers,
Yes.
Rajat Ojha, he's having problems because I think he's unable to. He can't see the blue button in terms of join audio video.
Really? Yeah. Is he here with? It says he's here right here. He's with us. Like he can see us.
Yeah, I just sent him a link to join the video because it sends over the invite to video call. But
so we see, I think he's in the audience at the moment. But I see 5 people. No, he was there. He's gone.
So there are 93 people in the audience. You think he's one of them?
No, it's under sessions. You're probably in the event right now.
So how do we get him in, James?
Well, he should. Wait, where did he should just see the share audio and video button. I mean, that's really.
But he's not seeing that. He says he can't see that.
Okay.
6 viewer. I think 6 viewer. I think we are 5. I think he must be as a viewing mode. Maybe he has to turn on.
Yeah, he is viewing it right now.
That's all of us right now.
Yeah.
I can see the 6 viewers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Rajat,
he had to
try another browser.
He had to turn on the video and audio.
I've sent him a message here. He says he can't see the button. He can't see the blue button.
Okay, let me just double check on the session then to make sure that he is available.
Yeah.
And Chaitanya, can you call up this guy, Rajan?
Yeah, so didn't you create a username and password?
Perspectives. Oh. My apologies. Tell him to try now. I had the wrong Rajat listed. My bad. It'll be much easier now. I'm glad I came in this morning to double check on the virtual session. I was like, I think Pradeep and his group will be fine. And then I was like, I just had the feeling that something was missed. There you go. Sorry about that, sir. Apologies.
I could hear. I could hear you. I
Yeah.
you had another
Such a common name. I'm sorry, too many Rajats here in the IGS.
Really?
So yeah, it was Rajat Navani, or maybe it was
Rajan.
registered under.
Too many
Yeah.
Raj, I know, but yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Thanks. As long as I'm with you guys.
So the session is opening fairly soon, so people will be able to see us. Just be aware of that. But as you know, the session will go as long as you would like. Unfortunately, Mr. Pradeep has 2 talks today, so he will have 5 minutes to jump from one to the other. But the rest of you, if you're having a conversation, you can feel free to keep talking and talking about the content. So other than that, break a leg. Anything else needed?
So, where are you at the moment? Are you in Miami or are you in Canada? At the moment?
Oh, you know me. I'm still in Calgary. I am.
Oh,
not in,
man.
Yeah, it's -21 here, so everybody's posting pictures from the beach, and I'm like,
it must be very warm and sunny in Calgary.
Oh yes, it is very sunny, but it's -21, so yeah. But thank you again for all joining us and taking time out of your busy days to give this fantastic talk. So we really appreciate it.
Chaitanya, can you call Rajan? It's about time.
I've been with his secretary on the phone like 3 or 4 times, so they are still struggling to log in.
Wait, who are we missing?
Yeah,
Rajan Navani.
There is another Raj.
Oh, I just kicked him out. All right.
Rajan Navani, Rajan Navani.
Yeah, Rajan. Yeah.
Yeah, wait, he needs to join.
Okay. We can share the session link directly to him. All right.
Yeah, can you send him a link?
Yeah, if we just grab it right at the top, you should be able to come in. It's a little bit different this year because we're using invites instead of moderates. So that means nobody can try to just jump into your session. Yeah.
So, Rajat, you thought this is a game going on, is it?
That could have been easier if it was a game. Yes, that word.
Sunaman, where are you based?
I'm in Mumbai.
Okay. And Tosh, where are you?
Gurgaon, he said. I think he's on mute.
He's on mute, but he said that.
I'm not on mute.
Now you're not.
Yeah,
I was not on mute. Yeah, I'm in Gurgaon right now.
No, what do you mean right now? Where do you live?
Gurgaon only. But I keep traveling because idhar settle down in Gurgaon.
Okay.
I've sent him the link, so he just needs to click it in his private chat here on Hopin. So
Get will see. It looks really bad.
Yeah, it is. मतलब इतना कोविड करके नॉर्मल फ्लू हो जाता है तो और पड़ती है.
Actually, कोविड के टाइम ना मास्क वाज रियली अ ब्लेसिंग एक्चुअली ना. मास्क लगा के घूमोगे शायद नहीं होगा, कम होगा.
साल में 1-2 बार फ्लू चल जाएगा, मास्क नहीं पहनना है.
You don't smoke anymore. Come on. Why do you need?
I don't smoke anymore.
Actually, Chaitanya, your face is looking a bit red here.
No. Yeah, that happens when I get a cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's come in so far. I'm just waiting for Rajan. It says he's inside of Hopin right now. So
is he inside Hopin? Oh,
yeah,
you can see him.
It says,
you can see him. Okay.
It says he's in the event. Yeah.
Okay. So, Rajat, how did he happen to land up in Hyderabad?
Oh, accidentally. A fortunate accident. I would say. Yeah. So I was in Belgium, and one guy just bumped into me and got me here. So that's how it happened.
And before Belgium, you were in LA, or where were you?
No, San Francisco. All along, for a long time. I had been visiting India, but now kind of all settled here and stuff. So.
Okay.
Does anybody have his phone number?
Yeah, I am calling his assistant.
I think we may change the rules next time if I'm still producing, where the test session will be a requirement.
Yeah, we good?
No, the test was easy, I guess.
No, I know the test is easy, but it makes me feel better and
more confident
in the speaker if they can join. Yeah, we've had some minor hiccups already this time. It's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, you're certified. There we go. Yeah. I think it's as I get older, just less heart attacks.
Okay,
yes.
I think we will have to start now. Chaitanya, it is 1 minute past.
Investors always come, once the whole stage is set.
Yep. Good luck, gentlemen. I will be still watching.
Yeah, okay.
If you need any help, let me know.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is Pradeep from Sydney, wishing you a very happy good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is in your part of the world. I can definitely tell you that in Sydney, it is 1 a.m. in the morning. That's what happens when you are down under. Anyway, I am delighted to be here to present to you a session on what's happening in the Indian Metaverse Ecosystem. By way of introduction, my name is Pradeep Khanna. I live in Sydney, where I've been living for the last 32 years. I'm the Executive Director Asia Pacific for VRARA, as well as CEO of Global Mindset and co-founder of Inform. Today, we have a very, very interesting set of people to talk about. And just to set the context, as if you didn't know, India's population is now 1.4 billion people. And while I have been talking to you, maybe there have been a few births. So I have lost count. The country is going to have 6.5% GDP growth when we are talking about recession in the Western world. The country has about 4,000 entities in the VR, AR, Metaverse ecosystem. And like any other country, 80% of these tend to be startups, and 75% of these 80% tend to be bootstrapped. So, what's happening? Let me just introduce the panelist. And let me also tell you that our fifth panelist is still trying to join in, and he's trying to work out the complexities of hopping. But before that, let me kickstart. The guy in the green t-shirt, if you can see, he's got a beard and he's got a whole lot of loose hair. His name is Chaitanya. Chaitanya, can you please raise your hand? Chaitanya is Vice President of a film institute called Whistling Woods International, to be more precise. He's also the business head. He's also the head of emerging technologies and also a couple of other things. Whistling Woods is being ranked as among the top 10 global institutes insofar as film, entertainment, and communication is concerned. Please give a round of applause to Chaitanya. Moving on next, Now, whom should I choose? I've got 3 other people to introduce. Okay, let me go for the guy who's wearing glasses. But hey, all 3 of them are wearing glasses. So the guy who's immediately next to the green shirt guy called Chaitanya is somebody called Tosh. His actual name is Toshendra. And what is his name to fame? Well, he is a creator, he's a builder. He is also the co-founder of Blockchain Alliance, which is a blockchain training company, and he just makes about $1 million a month. I've told him, once in a while to just give me some part of that, but he is not very happy with that. He's also a co-founder of a white label NFT company called NFTically. So, Tosh, can you raise your hand and please give a big round of applause to Tosh? Then moving immediately to his left is somebody who appears to be looking bald. So I thought maybe his avatar has joined. No, but he's the real self. His name is Sunaman, and he is the COO of Sony Entertainment Ventures or Talent Ventures India, which is a company, a subsidiary of Sony, which is focusing very much on the talent and the metaverse. Sunaman, can you raise your hand? And please, folks, if you can give a round of applause to Sunaman. And the next person who's right next to me is Rajat. Rajat is well known for for games. He's been the producer or developer of some of the top games, ranking out of top 10 on PlayStation and so on and so forth. But that was his earlier fame. Right now, he has one of the most successful metaverses in India called Party Night. He has refrained from calling it Partyverse because everybody seems to be calling everything verse, Anyway, please, Rajat, if you can raise your hand, and if everybody can please give a round of applause to Rajat. Now, let me kickstart and let me ask. Now, where do you think we are in the metaverse journey? And let me start with Chaitanya. Chaitanya, do you think that the metaverse is already there, or it is going to be there in another 10 years or 2040? And where do you think is India in this journey?
Thanks, Pradeep. And hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm battling a cold and a cough. So the metaverse is here. It's been here for almost 10 years in various avatars. Blockchain has been here for a while. Immersive experiences have been here for longer than what blockchain has been here for. We've consumed the Olympics and concerts in VR, and even the current World Cup that's going on. Somebody is streaming it in VR for sure. So various elements of the immersive industry we have been consuming for at least over a decade. Essentially, what is now
in India?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Over the I think what's now starting to happen is all these things are starting to come together under one umbrella of the immersive industry, which, for whatever reason, is being branded as the metaverse, right? Inside this immersive industry umbrella, you do many things. You entertain yourself, so you can watch fiction, VR content. You can watch live streaming of sports and concerts.
Let me ask you at this particular instance that I'm more looking for what's happening in India, but also before that, what exactly are you doing in the metaverse?
Oh, so as a Film and Creative Arts Institute, it's very important to us that the students we create go on to become the next generation of the at least the Indian media and entertainment industry, if not the global. And for for that purpose, it's important that we are ahead of the curve. And we've been working on cinematic VR since 2016. We've been working on live streaming of VR over the last year and a half. We've been working on virtual production. We've been working on world building. We have a production design as well as gaming students come together to create immersive worlds and interactive worlds.
So
So
let me ask you,
there are
Chaitanya,
multiple elements of
how
the
many
immersive.
students do you have?
We have over 1,000 students on campus right now.
And how many
And
of them are getting or studying VR, AR, or metaverse related
so
technology?
about at some stage of their educational journey, about 450 to 500 of them will go through some element of the immersive ecosystem that is focused to the specific craft that they are studying. So production design students will learn world building, gaming students would learn something else, cinematic students will learn cinematic VR. So the skill sets that they bring into the immersive industry is what they will learn, which is also parallel to the skill sets they would employ outside the immersive industry. So it's not like you're going to have a different breed or a different race or different
Well,
alien kind of
I
people
will
working
take you
in the
up on
immersive
that.
space.
I will take you up on that, and I'll give you an example. But let me move on to Tosh for the moment. Tosh, what are you doing in the metaverse ecosystem?
Sure. So, being into the e-commerce industry where we are helping brands to sell NFTs or digital assets in the open world, we have received a lot of requests where brands were saying we want to sell in metaverse. So we are in a vertical of e-commerce within the metaverse. We are powering e-commerce metaverse called Commerth, COMEARTH. So Commerth is actually a virtual planet divided into 8 different continents where we are allowing people, brands especially, to purchase a land and open a proper e-commerce experience where
So, in other
shoppers can.
words, are you a competitor to Decentraland?
No, not exactly. Decentraland is more into events. We are more into e-commerce. So we help brands position their products and either virtual or physical into metaverse and help their customers or consumer discover it and engage with them.
So
While
Okay. Let me
Decentraland
ask
is
you.
more into,
is it
Decentraland is more focused into events only. We are
Okay.
not purely an event company. We are more of we could position ourselves as an e-commerce metaverse company, and brands are actually looking for engagement. So I'm sure
So
Rajat
I
can
will take you up on
also.
Decentraland later on, but let me also ask you a question. That means 100% of your revenue is all metaverse related?
Not exactly, but I would say I think 10 to 20% is revenue is coming from the metaverse as of now. But this is something that is a journey. Actually, metaverse is more of a journey rather than a particular
Yeah, but
point.
I'm asking about your revenue. Forget
Yeah,
about the
I'm
journey.
talking about
So
my
10,
revenue. I'm talking about the company's revenue. So I think 10 to 20% of our revenue is coming from on the metaverse side. Remaining is on the white label NFT marketplace. So that's the present stage.
okay, let me go across to Rajat.
Sure.
Rajat, you come with a gaming background.
That's right.
What are you doing in the metaverse right now?
Yeah, I think it's first of all, I'll absolutely agree with CC that metaverse has been around for about over a decade, even in India. And the building blocks, not necessarily metaverse how we see it today, because that's going to change anyways. In times to come, and it has been evolving. And back in 2014 itself, we actually delivered. Back then, we used to call it telepresence, right? Telepresence solution for ICICI Bank and Microsoft, and then Bosch. These were three guys, and we literally brought all the ICICI banks in one single platform where Chanda Kochar and Vijay Chandok, the president of the then CEO, spoke to the all the ICICI employees. Then with similar thing we did with Microsoft, we recreated their Redmond office, and the general manager and all those kind of things were there, and a lot of VR space. But yes, that's past now. We added the economy layer and the event solution on top of this, and we built Party Night. In fact, we started a little before pandemic itself. We had to shelf this product, the telepresence thing, what we were doing, because there were not many takers. They were not understanding why they needed spatial computing and stuff like that. And we were focusing on video games. Yeah, you want to say something?
So at the moment, if I take it, then you are basically organizing events in the metaverse.
So that's you can say it's kind of a very how people see it. What we are trying to do is far more. In fact, if you've seen the news very recently, we created a partnership with Big Viking Games company in Toronto, and the entire reason is because we don't want this to remain a B2B platform. It has to have the consumers, and we are developing few meta things in metaverse where consumers will find a reason for coming every day, and not only for events. When there are audience,
So
brands will
Rajat,
by default will come. Yeah.
so Rajat,
Mhm.
what are you doing in the metaverse? You events is
Uh,
one side. What else are you
yeah.
doing in the metaverse?
Oh, we are we already have a cinema hall with Airtel where people are coming and watching cinemas. And so it's a persistent world, right? So you can just visit anytime. We're building a mall. We built an entire city called Utopia inside the metaverse where every possible thing is happening. We have cafe partnerships where people can come and just hang out with each other and have coffee and follow each other like as a social
Okay.
media how we do.
Okay. So
Mhm.
now tell me, what percentage of revenue is coming from the metaverse?
Just 99.9999%.
Fabulous. And how much revenue are you generating?
Pretty decent.
Now, is it more than $1 million or and
It's
more
definitely
than
much more than that. It's definitely much more than that.
okay, more than $10 million?
Not
So
at this
just
moment.
okay,
No,
okay,
not at this moment. Yeah, yeah,
okay, okay. Let
yeah.
me go
But we are
across
here.
to
We are here for a long run. So yeah, we're
okay,
building.
okay. Let me go across to Sunaman. Sunaman, what are you doing in the metaverse?
So, our take on the metaverse is that metaverse is going to be about communities, and those communities are going to straddle different areas, right? One is interaction, engagement, but there is also a level of passive engagement that people will want to create, and for us that comes through working with talent. So there is a opportunity for talent now to expand themselves in the metaverse. We've seen Mr. Bachchan do NFTs. There is every talent has jumped into, right? But I think there is a more focused approach to that. Today we are representing a talent in the metaverse in India, as a virtual talent. It is not that I'm representing a character, but I think that evolution of a virtual artist now getting created, whether it's Vocalize now getting created. So there is an opportunity that we see building out. As engagement increases, the need for that engagement uh, in different forms will increase, right? We've had gaming for more than 20 years. I remember having played Atari back in the day. PS has been on the network for the longest period of time. So the quote unquote metaverse in a walled garden has existed. Your ability to create an avatar has existed for a very long time.
So
I think that,
Sunaman, once again,
sure.
your focus insofar as the metaverse is concerned is on the talent side.
On the talent and content, I think there is a need for content, right? When you have a metaverse, you have platforms, there is a need for content as your engagement increases. So talent is part of that content because that is where the communities get built. So whether you're looking at Instagram getting built, there is a community now. You can call them influencers, you can call them A-list celebrities.
So
There is a
you are
platform.
okay. So what
Yeah.
you are doing is you are building communities, you are looking for talent, and you are engaging. Are
Yes.
you also into metaverse consulting?
We do a little bit of metaverse consulting, yes, as an opportunity, because in the end, today a brand, for example, will look at a final outcome. They're not looking for saying, okay, only give me talent. They're saying, okay, can you build the whole solution out? And then one will go ahead and engage with the ecosystem, which is collaborative today, to build that out.
So
Um,
are you, and what percentage of your revenue is coming from the metaverse?
it's a small percentage right now, about
What,
10 fifteen
less than
percent
10?
but 10-15% of our business is currently metaverse focused. There's a larger focus, but As we scale and build out, I think those numbers will change substantially from a opportunity standpoint. So in terms of focus, we believe that it will increase, but I think from a build out perspective right now, it's a much smaller percentage.
Okay. Now, at this particular point in time, there is another avatar who's walked into our session today. Oh, hang on a sec. He's not an avatar. He's a real person. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to introduce the fifth panelist. His name is Rajan Navani. He is vice chairman and managing director, and he's got a couple of other titles of, JetSynthesys and so on and so forth. So please give a big round of applause to Rajan. Now, Rajan, can you tell me what are you doing in the metaverse? Rajan, you're on mute, I think.
He's not on mute, but we can't hear him.
Raj? Yeah, you're not on mute now, but we still can't hear you.
Okay, so while Rajan and we, talk to each other on extrasensory perception protocol, and he figures out what to do on his audio. Let me go across to Chaitanya. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got 5 jewels from the Indian Metaverse Ecosystem. This is telling you what is the representation not only in India but globally. As you would have noticed, most of the people have a small percentage of the revenue coming from the metaverse at this stage. Although the word revenue itself in the metaverse is an interesting term. So there are 2 types of companies which are operating both globally as well as in India. Companies who are totally focused onto the metaverse, and companies who got metaverse as one part of their overall business activities. Of course, we've got Chaitanya, who runs the Film Institute, and he has almost about 50% of his students going through some other form or not. So let me continue the discussion with Chaitanya. Chaitanya, IIT Jodhpur has launched an MTech in VR/AR. So, is Whistling Woods having any plans of launching a full master's or a bachelor's program in immersive technologies?
So we're not a tech school. We're a creative production school. So that's not something that's on the cards for us. But once the tech platform has been built, once the metaverse underlying architecture has been built by the people who come out of IIT Jodhpur, we will then give them all the people who will do all the fun things inside that boring technology platform.
Okay, so let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
So you are not a tech institute. You are a film institute. Are you seeing an increase in demand of people who want to make a career in film but are more interested in stuff like virtual production, VR, and so?
Absolutely. So about 15 years ago, tech wasn't even 1/4 as critical in the content creation space as it is today. Given the fact that there has been a huge digitization of the entire media and entertainment industry, so much so that today a lot of the underlying IPs that people keep talking about are actually not of the final rendered product, but it's actually of the underlying metadata which they consider as IP, especially in areas like motion capture, etc., etc. So the whole point is that technology is deeply entrenched into the media and entertainment industry, and we regularly find that it's only growing. But where we look at it as a tool. We look at it as a tool to create experiences, to tell stories, to essentially do what is the natural hypothesis for our industry.
The question was that are you seeing an increase in demand?
Oh yeah, huge.
What does huge mean? 50% more, 100% more?
Our first batch, about 3 years ago, we used to take in about 300 students a year. This year, we took in 450. I'm ignoring the 2 years of pandemic in between.
Okay, fair enough. Let me go across to Rajan. Rajan, is the extrasensory perception sorted out?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. So
Sorry.
tell me, Rajan, what are you doing in the metaverse ecosystem?
So, firstly, thank you, Pradeep, for having me here on this panel. And as a part of a very distinguished group, as well as a very important subject that I still continue to believe is going to shape the future of the engagement of at least the digital native population of this world. And a large part of that resides in India. I mean, 1 in 10 people in the world is an Indian under the age of 25. And I think they are all digitally native. They're all people who are now engaging and communicating, meeting, socializing in the digital world first before they're even recognizing new relationships in the real world. And it's a very drastic shift in consumer behavior change that has happened. And we've been able to track this behavioral change through the ecosystems that we have built around gaming and esports, music and entertainment in what we call Bharat. Bharat is really the tier 2, tier 3 grassroots India. So what we've been able to do in the metaverse is really take a lot of our consumer experiences that have happened in Web 2, be there, gaming experiences in electronic cricket, which we have a 65% global market share of, or our esports capabilities in tournaments and the NFTs out of very special moments that have been created there, again, which we have a 90% market share in India of. Or if we look at our music and, especially areas which are tier 2, tier 3 NFTs that have been created around large music artists and also influencers and cricketing legends like Sachin Tendulkar and Sonu Nigam, who are iconic brands in countries like India. We have created all the digital virtual assets, both as NFTs, the digital worlds, which is an extension of our gaming worlds, and also now have been able to build in an integrated strategy which we believe will define the future of engagement for consumers also.
So that's very nice to hear. And let me share with you that the European Commission just last week spent £500,000 on a metaverse where they had an event and they invited the Gen Zs, and only 5 people attended. But I'll come back to you on another front. But what percentage of your revenue is coming from the metaverse?
So metaverse for us, Pradeep, is a separate vertical. We've invested in that space and we've invested significantly. And our revenues, actually, we've been able to track good revenues which came out of digital assets that are sold or are useful in the metaverse. So whether they are NFTs, whether they are, I think special moments, as well as what we are now working with brands to create their digital metaverses. We just
But in terms of percentage, is it 10%? Is it 100%?
No. Offer JetSynthesys is a very large company, but it is for us. It is still single-digit percentage of revenue today, but definitely looking at growing significantly over the next 3 to 5 years.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the broad spectrum, as these people, like I said, are jewels from the Indian metaverse ecosystem. As I mentioned, there are 2 types of companies: one who've got other businesses and also metaverse. And at the moment, these companies are broadly having less than 10% of their entire business coming from metaverse. Let me go across to Rajat. Rajat, you've been in gaming for a very, very long time. You went into events. Have you looked at blending games? Because games have been the early adopters insofar as the metaverse is concerned.
Of course, absolutely, and yeah. So I don't know if you're aware, but behind some of the most celebrated game like Resident Evil, Battlefield, and Final Fantasy, and so on and so forth, like so many. But yes, I totally get it, and I understand the hypothesis where the Fortnite, transformed from a game to this, and that's exactly what we are working on today. And as I said, like we are working on few meta things. our meta thing is definitely going to be a game which will reside on top of our metaverse and will give reason for people to keep coming back. And at the same time, whatever their interaction at the physical world and the digital world and everything will convert into not just that, probably the variables as well. We'll collect all the data and we'll create, and use those things for the gaming purposes. That's the big picture what we're painting.
So no, I don't want the big picture. I want the small picture actually. But
The small picture is, yes, there is
coming
a
back
game.
to what do you see as the opportunities and challenges, and is the crypto freeze or the freeze which is happening at the moment impacting you?
No, absolutely not.
So what do you see as the opportunities and challenges?
So opportunity is the
Actually, I should talk
whatever.
only of challenges, because everybody talks in terms of trillions of dollars worth of revenue in the metaverse. So let's talk only about challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. So the challenge is always about creating the awareness and the education and differentiating yourself with the so again, it's a technology evolution we are part of, right? So there is a lot of abuse and misuse which happens, during this particular phase. So steering out of that and creating awareness is definitely the biggest challenge we
So
face.
just one point. Do you know that there are 400 million gamers in India?
Of course.
Hmm? So what percentage of those 400 million are actually now interacting with you?
Ah, at this moment, 24 million
Okay, great. I'll come back to you.
in India. I'm talking about in India. Globally, it's
Yes.
a bigger number we have.
Is
Yeah,
technology a challenge for you? Is availability of
absolutely.
skills a challenge for you?
Technology, absolutely not. Availability of resources is a big, huge challenge, and that's how we solve it by hiring people from the West. And we have about 170 people outside India, especially in Denmark and in America, who are actually creating all the tech pieces and at the same time directing all the games and stuff. What we do, my team in India does, because yes, there is a larger gap is in the design and design philosophies and design thinking, not in execution. Knowing Unreal Engine, you'll definitely find, and thanks to virtual production, people like CC who are producing a lot of resources in Unreal Engine and stuff, which solves our problem. And this whole virtual production has taken this thing, the way Unreal is pushing. We had been using Unreal Engine since 2003.
So, in other words, what you
Mhm.
see is the skills availability, you see that as a challenge.
In the design space, absolutely a big, huge challenge. It's a like
And so
very
therefore
wide gap.
you're getting people from the West. What about
Absolutely right.
availability of technology? That is not a challenge.
Absolutely not.
Very good to hear that. Chaitanya, so do you see this as an opportunity?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Over the last, I would say, 2 years, 2.5 years, the ability or the willingness that people have shown to interact with each other uh, purely on a digital first basis has gone through the roof.
When you say gone
Uh,
to the roof, what does that mean? From a very low base or from hundreds of
yeah.
millions of people?
So in India, there is nothing which is not hundreds of millions of people, right? So I would comfortably say that if there are 1.3 billion cell phones, there are 700 million people on broadband in India today. Over the next 2 years, at least 100 million of them will have some experience in some immersive, in one aspect of the immersive umbrella, of the immersive industry umbrella, whether they watch a live stream in VR, or whether they watch a VR short film or a documentary, or whether they play a VR game, or whether they go to a VR a metaverse party, or whether they are given a party ticket by Airtel or one of the mobile companies as a
So,
lucky
in other
draw.
words, what you're saying is that Rajat should not worry, because in the years ahead to him, he'll
No.
have pools of 100 or 1 million of people.
So yeah, where right now what the mobile video market in India was in 2012, where less than 1% of India's video content was being consumed by the cell phone, on the cell phone in India. And then there were two watershed moments. One was the emergence of 4G and Geo with really low data rates. and the emergence of the 5-inch mobile display. Those two things, within 6 years, 70% of India's content was being consumed on the cell phone. So we have those
Well,
two
well,
watershed.
well, well. Most of the Asian countries are mobile first anyway. You go to
Yep,
Indonesia, you go to any of these countries.
correct.
So
So
okay.
those two watershed moments in the immersive space are 5G and the emergence of low-cost, indigenously built immersive content consumption headsets,
So
both of which
let
are
me tell you
around the
about
corner.
5G. South Korea has a population of 50 million and 20 million subscribers of 5G.
Yeah.
Thailand is emerging as a big center and has 5 million out of a population of 70 million. India has launched 5G only in October. So there
And
is
there
still
are
a way to
already
go.
and there are already 10 million people using 5G.
10 million.
Already ho gaya 10 million.
I will get back to you on that.
By Jan,
I have
when Jio and Mumbai opens in Jan, you'll see another 10 million coming from just one city.
okay. Let me move across to Sunaman. Sunaman, you are part of a global company,
Yeah.
Sony, and by the way, Sony is also a member of VRARA. Now, is your remit global or is it India?
So our business remit is India, focused primarily on India. Our intent is to build this ecosystem for India. As a business, this is looking at talent and looking at disruptions for talent. So we looked at the traditional ecosystem of the whole content and talent play that is currently today. We've seen how last 2 years has changed the way talent is being projected, consumed, engaged with. And we see that model of engagement changing, right? And as that model changes, for us the remit was how do you go ahead and start creating business opportunities in the metaverse for talent in India. And the talent we talk about is not just saying an actor or a musician. We are talking of talent who are artists, for example, could be painters, could be creators, could be animators, right? Now some of those opportunities open for them too.
So let me give you certain projections. McKinsey forecasts that in the US, people on average will spend 4 hours in the metaverse in another 5 years' time. Pew forecasts that even by 2040, we will have less than half a billion people, or just about that much, in a metaverse. Of course, the definition of the metaverse is, depends on what you call it. So, considering that the timelines where it is, so do you see enough opportunities in India for revenue generation?
I think the simple answer is yes. Uh, there is enough opportunities. There is enough opportunities where, so two things, right? If you look at the way Instagram grew from the 2010-11 to now, and the engagement it created, right? There are most companies, whether it's brands, content creators, uh, they already identify that this as the next phase of engagement in Instagram. That's the simpler way of how people are seeing it. And I think to that extent, there will be business that will get created and opportunities created. Now, I think the question is, can you create enough engagement? Can you create enough touch points for people to keep coming back to you? You will get them coming once from a novelty standpoint, right? The second time, and the other bit is, and when you say there are 400 million gamers, right? A lot of them are mobile gamers. They're not console gamers like the West, right? I think that's one part, right? So it's device based. Now, how much of immersion are you able to create? And what is the level of quality you're able to demonstrate and deliver to them? Because you have to remember, we could keep competing with other visual mediums. There is a visual medium which is still OTT, which is delivering that entertainment. So in the end, you have so many hours, Pradeep, that a consumer will spend on entertainment and so many hours on information. Those are the two needs that you're typically solving for. Now that entertainment can be passive entertainment through consumption of content, or immersive entertainment through gaming or other forms, right? Or could be information. Now we have those number of hours to tap into and monetize. So it's a share of wallet, share of market play in that space. You look at evolution of media started from radio,
So
print.
in other words, it's all hunky dory.
There are
So
challenges, Pradeep. There are
understand.
principal
I will come
challenges.
back to you, but in the interest of time, let me
Sure.
move on to Rajan. Rajan, in India, there are, two options. The domestic market itself is very, very large. And that provides a significant opportunity, especially when the country is in a growth phase and there is a strong focus on digital transformation and take up of immersive technologies. On the other hand, traditionally, India has also been the global center, just like what happened in the case of IT and BPO and services. So, what do you think is going to happen in India? Will the focus be on the domestic market for the players or players like you, or will it be international market? Will it be both?
I think it will be both. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, Pradeep, the fact that India will cater to the global supplies chain in this space is a given. I think it's already happening. Because even if you look at Metaverse, it's really about creating digital environments. And we know all the Hollywood movies, studios, the amount of visual effects, the amount of things that are happening out of India, is very, very significant. As a matter of fact, if India didn't exist, we would miss a lot of large part of the entertainment. And to add to what Suleiman said, it's not only gaming experiences. I think even content experiences today are becoming massively immersive, right? And we are seeing that we're actually creating that. Not only are they becoming immersive from a content perspective, but they're also becoming very immersive from a commerce perspective, especially when it comes to fashion, jewelry. You can really try on things. Your avatar can wear it, look at it. You can use a 3D printer, get that same thing created just where you are out of a digital environment. So a lot of that interaction that I was talking of in my earlier part of the comments that consumers will have in the metaverse will only get realized in value, because to your point of revenue and all, which could be fulfilled through the real world. I mean, I think that doesn't make today you take an Amazon, the fulfillment is absolutely through the real world, and we'll still say that Amazon has a revenue of that. But it is the same shoe and the food and the products and the products of the real world that got sold through that platform that created it. So I definitely believe this entire shift in the world that will happen as an interaction first happening in the metaverse is definitely going to happen globally. India will play a large part in the supply chain. But most importantly, as I mentioned, given that there's a large level of digital literacy, very high penetration of smartphones, 5G coming up, if we can create frictionless, simple user journeys, we are able to crack that consumer experience and community experience that is needed for this kind of engagement on low bandwidth. And India will not be as immersive because of a smartphone experience. We are not even looking at additional investments, which are very significant. The metaverse will be the platform through which, the first point of entry and interaction will happen. And I think if brands do not capture that shift in consumer behavior early on, they're at a disadvantage. New brands will come up like digital first brands came up in the Web 2 world, even in the Web 3 world, and go and capture that market. And we've seen those trends. Luckily, we've had a crash which has brought that crazy trend and frenzy to a really more realistic position. And now I think is the time for us to build. And you know why I believe, Pradeep, India is the best place to build these products also because we have a very hard, frugal consumer to please, right? And if you're able to do that with the kind of cost, etc., that India provides, I think there's a massive global opportunity waiting. So frugal innovation is India's strength.
Got it. Chaitanya, I'll just come to you. Before that, I have to go to Tosh. Tosh, tell me, this current freeze, crypto freeze, is it impacting on the NFT take-up?
So I think NFT answer is yes. For the metaverse, the answer is no. So because people generally perceive NFTs somehow sister of cryptocurrencies, which somehow true as well because most of the transactions or purchasing of the NFTs are tied up with the cryptocurrencies. And though it is not completely true because it can happen without the cryptocurrencies as well. But when the NFT crash happened, we were actually expecting that, and we also found that this is actually the correct thing that happened to the industry because now whatever the noise was there in the market that has all gone down, and now the real innovators or real creator builders who are actually focused on the real value which was behind the NFTs are still alive and they are still building. They are not at all disheartened, they're not at all feeling down, they just focused on building. And metaverse somehow is, definition wise, metaverse is a intersection of various technologies, including the virtual reality, social network, blockchain, NFTs, and so many things. So I think a very small fraction of it is tied up with the NFTs, because you can sell NFTs in metaverse, though it is a completely optional. You can sell even a physical products as well in metaverse. You can have a social networking in metaverse. You can watch movies in metaverse. You can do whatever you want.
Okay,
But
folks. Okay, folks. Now we are exactly 1 minute into the closing time, and I have to move across to the next session, next panel that I'm moderating. Now, let me summarize the whole discussion today for our audience. I have definitely, got my adrenaline up listening to all these lovely folks over here. I am feeling very, very positive as to what kind of a role, India will play. Of course, my apprehension is that will it be Gen Z, will it be Gen Alpha, or will it be Gen Beta? And who's Gen Beta? Gen Beta is people who are going to be born after 2025. So, with that, this is Pradeep from Sydney signing off. And thank you so much. I kept on provoking all of you, but that's what the fun is. I enjoyed the discussions. I hope all of you also enjoyed the discussions. And to the audience, feel free to reach out to all the speakers for any questions. And Chaitanya, I owe you one because you wanted to make a point, but I am almost at time, so I have to hang up now. So, folks, this is Pradeep from Sydney and saying a very, very lovely good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night to wherever you are in for whatever part of the world. Bye, bye for now.
thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.